¿Quieres que ese hombre se apegue a ti? Aumenta su vasopresina. Y no se trata de hacer más, se trata de hacer mejor. Escúchame bien, muchas mujeres caen en el error de sobrehacer, de sobrecompensar, de sobreentregarse y terminan ocupando el rol de su madre y eso no lo enamora. El apego masculino no se construye con tu esfuerzo, sino con estrategia emocional. Y una de las formas más efectivas es influir en sus hormonas. ¿Cómo? Déjalo hacer cosas por ti. Tareas pequeñas, claras, porque cuando él cumple una misión, su cuerpo se siente útil, necesario, validado. ¿Quieres hacerlo simple? Por ejemplo, cuando él te pregunte, amor, ¿dónde quieres comer? No le digas, ay, no sé, elige tú. No. Dale dos opciones. Sushi o carne, por ejemplo. Me encantaría comer sushi o carne. Ahí tú lo dejas que elija dentro de un marco. Le estás dando una tarea muy sencilla. Él lidera, tú inspiras. Y cuando él lo haga, exprésale eso, cómo te hizo sentir. Esa es la clave. Por ejemplo, gracias amor, me encantó, estaba delicioso, me hizo muy feliz. Eso es oro emocional para él. Acabas de activar su química de apego. No necesitas hacer más. Solo necesitas comunicar cómo te sientes cuando él actúa bien, únicamente. Y sí, eso requiere conciencia, claridad y práctica, pero si tú sabes hacerlo, te conviertes en esa mujer con la que él se quiere quedar. Y si quieres que te ayude personalmente dándote un consejo para tu caso, ve al link de mi perfil. ¿Quieres que ese hombre se apegue a ti? Aumenta su vasopresina. Y no se trata de hacer más, se trata de...
So a seductive person is self-aware. They're self-aware of their body language, the clothes that they wear, of how they talk. The anti-seductive person has no self-awareness. They enter life, they don't look in a mirror, they don't think about what they're saying, they just think they're being natural and they offend a lot of people. You have to keep people on their heels. They can't know everything about you. And what I said is, disappear for a couple weeks. Make people talk about you. Make people wonder, why is she not posting as much? Why are we not seeing what she's wearing in the morning, having for breakfast and all these other things? Beyonce did that. She disappeared for like a couple of years and then she comes out with like a country western album that nobody expected. Michael Jackson did that. He would disappear between albums for 3 or 4 years. And it just made people go crazy and talk about him and wonder who he was. But after a year, they'll find somebody new they haven't seen before, and you're not so new anymore, and they'll find them and they'll leave you, and it'll be very painful for you. You have to disappear sometimes so people don't take you for granted. If they know everything about you, it's human nature that you become too familiar and they're not interested in you anymore at a certain point. So you have to create mystery. So a seductive person is self-aware. They're self-aware of their body language.
I know what makes a man fall in love with you, and I mean chase you, think about you, and delete all those other girls from his phone. And now, fair warning, you might hate what I have to say here, because it's not what every other person's going to tell you. But it will save you a lot of time. You need to understand what makes a guy fall in love in the first place. Is he going to fall in love with you because of how pretty you are? Well, you are pretty, but no. Is he going to fall in love with you because of how much work you put into the relationship? Still, no. The way he falls in love with you, and this is going to be counterintuitive, is how much you respect his boundaries. How much, when he puts up a boundary, do you push back against it? Fine to push back, but do you cross his boundaries? I already hear my lovely ladies complain and say, whoa, why do I gotta follow his boundaries? Well, he should be following you. It's a two-way road. But just know, the path to a man's heart is when you follow his lead. I know what makes a man fall in love with you, and I mean chase you, think about you.
Ladies, if you're looking for a man and you find one who has female friends, like girls that he texts regularly and girls that he hangs out with one-on-one, that is a huge green flag.
I think there's a greener flag, ladies. Bear with me here. I'm not disagreeing with this creator, by the way. I think there's such importance in having close female friends. I've got loads of them. But I do think that there is something slightly more telling, which is straight men with gay male friends, which isn't an option for everyone, right? But here's why I think it's important. I honestly firstly believe that men can kind of fake interest in women. I don't think they're all doing that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I do think that they can. They can learn the language and pick up the cues and perform a kind of like sensitivity. But what's much harder to fake is a kind of genuine interest in other men who exist outside of the kind of masculinity that they were raised on. That like discomfort and tension it reveals something to them and to people who've seen it. And I have seen it a lot. What I think a lot of women essentially want to avoid is men who have no curiosity over the lives that don't mirror their own. Men who carry a kind of quiet apathy toward anything out of their like very narrow sense of manhood. And I found that when a straight man has close gay male friends, that apathy gets really disrupted. Not because those people are teaching them anything, that's not their job, they're not accessories, they're full lives. But simply by being around those full lives will like subtly rewire straight people. It's similar, there's a similar conversation here to do with race, right? To do with like the type of people you surround yourself around. I saw this distinction very clearly when I was at university. You know, I went to a dance school, and so there was a higher proportion of gay men. It was almost 50-50 in different year groups. But I noticed that when male friends of different students, my own as well, would come up to the university to visit, like from high school, there was a discomfort. Now, it wasn't that they were uncomfortable being around these people. It was that they were uncomfortable in their own skin in that space. They didn't know how to like fully relax around a kind of version of masculinity that wasn't following the same rules that they were following. It was like they were afraid it might change them, or worse still, it might unlock a fullness in them that they hadn't like fully reckoned with. And you really knew it because once they started drinking, all of those like inhibitions kind of dropped a little bit, and that discomfort just like leaked away. I think I ultimately like trust straight men who aren't afraid of being perceived as gay. I'm not talking about the kind of person who like turns it into a joke or a performance. I mean someone who is living authentically and doesn't flinch at how they might be read from the outside. One of my closest friends, he'll sometimes joke when we're go to dinner and we hang out that we're a couple, right? Like if we're at dinner and the server comes over, he goes, "Yeah, this is our first date." And every time I'll either like roll my eyes, say nothing, or I'll shoot back with, "Do you really think that if I was into dudes, you'd have a chance with me?" Like it's a joke and we laugh about it. And the truth is, we've had to talk about this a little bit, but he kind of makes that joke because he thinks I might be the only, or one of the few men he knows who just doesn't care about being seen that way. And I've always wondered, why are men so afraid of being read as queer? Why is this an image that you're running away from? Like, to me, being mistaken as gay should be the same as someone thinking you're a Virgo when you're a Pisces. Who cares? Who cares? You know who you are, right? Because I know who I am. And if somebody misreads me, I just go, "Oh no, sorry, I'm not that." You know, and then we move on and life goes on. Like, I think that what my friend's joke exposes is a kind of like shame that I think is really useless to men. And maybe this is just personal to me, but I'll say it anyway. When it comes to sexuality, if a man can't sit comfortably inside himself, inside the truest version of himself, unless everybody else sees the thing that he's emitting, that's an insecurity that I don't fully trust, that concerns me if that's the partner that you've chosen. I just think that fear and that shame and that like discomfort, it's gonna show up eventually, you know, with you, with your friends, with your loved ones, and maybe one day like with your kids as well. And if it does show up, I'm convinced it will show up in the worst way possible.
Ladies, if you're looking for a man and
man hates you, it will rarely be overt, and this is exactly what it looks like. Client came to me and she said, "Allie, I've been seeing this guy that I really like, but something happened and I can't seem to shake it." She had recently gotten her lips done and she loved how it turned out. One night they're at dinner together having an incredible time. They're both a little bit tipsy and they get onto the topic of cosmetic procedures, and he says, "I hate when girls get their lips done. They end up looking like frogs." And she kind of looks at him and he says, "Oh, but not yours. Yours look natural." A few weeks go by and he calls her out of the blue and says, "Hey, I'm by your place. Do you want to hang out?" When he goes to pick her up, he mentions he needs to make a return at the mall. So he swings by his house, gets the stuff. When he gets back to the car, he says, "Oh, I think I left my phone inside. Can you call me?" He runs back inside. The car is on, Bluetooth is connected, and she calls him. I kid you not. Her name pops up on the screen with the frog emoji next to it. There are 3 occasions where a man will show you exactly how he feels about you: when he is drunk, when he is angry, and when he is joking. Never ignore anything he says or does during these moments. When a man...
Te voy a decir cómo un hombre se compromete, pero no sé si estás lista.
Cañón. No, probablemente no, pero dije.
Un hombre solo se compromete, te guste o no, para no perderte. Punto final. A ver,
fácil.
Si yo puedo salir contigo y no me cuestas, o más que 50-50, ¿no? Al fin pago lo que iba a pagar yo, de todos modos, ¿no? Por mí. Si no me exiges mucho tiempo, si yo puedo seguir saliendo con otras, si yo puedo tener sexo contigo y no hay un título, lo voy a hacer. O sea, ¿a quién le dan pan que llore? Es como si llega un millonario y te dice, no te voy a pedir sexo, no te voy a pedir nada, aquí está, te voy a mantener como una reina. ¿No tomarías su dinero? Ay, claro. ¿Quieres que tu hombre se comprometa contigo? Perdón, mamacita, no te regales gratis. Y no es mala onda, pero piensa en esto. ¿Por qué se compromete? Porque dice, es que si yo no me comprometo con ella, se la va a llevar alguien mejor. Tú tienes que mantener tu energía abierta y decir, yo estoy contigo, yo quiero estar contigo, yo quiero que te comprometas. Pero si no te comprometes, papacito, yo sigo saliendo. Y yo sigo volteando a mirar, porque si tú no te comprometes, mi reloj biológico está tic-taqueando. Y si me llega otro cabrón que me guste tanto como tú y que sí se comprometa, sí me comprometo. Entonces el hombre voltea y dice, no, esta vieja está chingona, me gusta, la neta le gira, yo la quiero conmigo. Si no me comprometo con ella, otro güey va a venir y le va a ofrecer lo que yo no le estoy ofreciendo. Es la verdad. Somos bien cavernícolas.
Se te hace.
Tienes que mantenerte abierta. Tienes que mantenerte abierta. Y entonces él va a sentir pasos. Va a decir, chinga. Te voy a decir cómo un hombre se compromete. Pero no sé si estás lista.
Cañón. No, probablemente no, pero dije.
Un hombre solo se compromete.
I am my husband's dream girl, and I will always preach to only marry a man if you are his dream girl, because I have seen it over the years with my own relationships and friendships that the level of effort that a man puts into his dream girl versus his wife is vastly different. My friend got married, and on their honeymoon home, she got no sleep and he got tons of sleep because he can sleep on airplanes so well. They were on a 14-hour flight. Rested her head on his shoulder and she started to fall asleep, and he went like this to get her off his shoulder. And she was like, hey, I want to sleep, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, but it makes me uncomfortable. And she was like, but you got so much sleep. Can it just... And he was like, no, because it's uncomfortable for me. On their honeymoon home. And did it get better? Let me answer that for you. No, it did not. She also had to sign a prenup. It wasn't even successful yet. He was in school. She supported the crap out of him. And he was like, we can only get married if you sign a prenup. Because he didn't want her to have any of that pie once he gets it. And he didn't even have it yet. She was helping him bake it, but she couldn't have any of it, okay? My husband would never. The second we got engaged, he gave me a credit card with my name on it connected to his bank accounts. He pays for everything. I pay for some stuff now because we're married and ultimately doesn't matter. But if I want him to pay for something, he just will. It's not a will he, won't he, should I? It's my money. It's my money. That's not how, I see couples who Venmo each other for things like concert tickets. Your wife is paying you back $50, $100 for a concert ticket? Even my phone is upset. I will always shout from the rooftops that when you marry a man who views you as his dream girl, he is not going to make your life miserable, okay? Because one of my friends even was getting hounded about how she wasn't scrubbing the bathtub well enough when she cleaned it multiple times a week. That man just doesn't like you. I am my husband's...
Cuando tú le das la oportunidad al hombre de que se pelee por ti, de que luche por ti, que se esfuerce y haga cosas para ti, no nada más es un regalo que te estás dando a ti, también se lo estás dando a él, porque le estás permitiendo ser hombre, o sea, desarrollar su polaridad masculina. Cuando tú le pones todo servidito y en la mesa, el hombre otra vez se aburre. Y ojo, chicas, demostrado, el 85% de las chicas que hacen el primer approach, el primer acercamiento con un hombre, hola, ¿cómo te llamas? Me gustas. Y esto que muchas chavitas están haciendo, tienen 85% menos probabilidades de tener éxito.
Volvamos a las abuelas en muchas cosas.
Sí.
O sea, así como te dicen, ahora come de la tierra, regresa.
Y además, fíjate, hay otro. ¿Cuál es el objeto erótico más atractivo? El próximo. ¿Por qué? Porque uno desea lo que uno no tiene, no lo que tienes. Cuando inicia una relación, si tú luego tienes relaciones sexuales, pues te vuelves eróticamente menos atractivo. Cuando tú le das...
Voy a decir cómo hacerle para caerle bien a toda la familia de tu novio. No solamente a su familia nuclear, estamos ya hablando de caerles bien a todos. Estos son los ojos de una persona que lloró toda la noche, no se fijen en eso, ¿ok? Ahorita ando acá en Puebla porque mi suegra me invitó a conocer a toda su familia. Yo nada más había conocido a la parte paterna de la familia de mi novio. Y bueno, llevo acá ya unos días, llevo conviviendo con la familia de la mamá de Carlos y me la estaba pasando súper bien. Y yo siento que inclusive en relaciones pasadas que he estado con exnovios más pesados y familias más pesadas y así, yo siempre me he logrado llevar bien. Y me han dado su confianza, me han abierto las puertas de su casa, me han invitado a viajes, cosas así, o sea, como que buena relación. Y esto es algo que aprendí a hacer y que desde que lo hago ya no lo solté. Obviamente tú cuando llegas a la casa de tu novio quieres ser servicial, o sea, si comes ahí quieres buscar cómo ayudar a, no sé, levantar la mesa, limpiar los platos, etc. Ya hay casas donde sí es bienvenida esa ayuda y es como de que, ay, gracias, qué linda que te ofreces ayudar o qué linda que estás ayudando. Pero también yo he notado que hay familias que les gusta mucho ser hosts, tener visitas, y entonces parte de lo que ellos te quieren dar es esta atención, esta como calidad, así de tú no hagas nada, tú eres invitado o invitada, entonces no muevas un dedo, yo te quiero cocinar esto, yo quiero ayudarte con esto, así. Y yo siento que una vez que tú logras distinguir qué tipo de familia es, que ojo, ninguna es mejor que otra, simplemente hay de ambos tipos, tienes que comportarte de tal forma. Si estás de una familia donde aprecian mucho que tú seas una persona servicial, que le gusta ayudar, que le gusta como, te ayudo a tal, yo recojo esto, así todo eso, pues compórtate así. O sea, independientemente de que tú lo hagas o no en tu propia casa, te digo, yo en mi casa siempre he sido de cada quien limpia lo suyo, cada quien recoge lo suyo, entonces a mí no se me dificulta, hazlo. Porque van a valorar mucho eso, van a decir, qué persona tan amable, tan servicial, le gusta ayudar. Lo estamos invitando y está siendo muy educado aparte él, o sea, o ella. Pero, que eso es lo que a mí me costaba. Si la familia que te está recibiendo, esas familias que no les gusta que sus invitados muevan un dedo, lo cual es también válido, no muevas un dedo. Déjate consentir, déjate querer. ¿Por qué? Porque muchas veces hay gente que se ofende. O sea, hay gente que te están ofreciendo toda esta amabilidad, esta hospitalidad en sus casas. Y si tú les respondes con este comportamiento que pues no es que sea maleducado ni nada, pero con este comportamiento de no dejo que tú me ayudes, no dejo que tú me sirvas, no dejo que tú recojas, pues igual y se toman un poquito así como una ofensa. Así como que yo te estoy ofreciendo esto y no lo estás agradeciendo, no lo estás aceptando. Igual iba a haber gente que va a comentar de que, güey, es esa mamada que... Pero de verdad, yo me he dado cuenta y he aprendido a que si se están ofreciendo a recoger mi plato de la mesa y llevárselo al fregadero, déjalos. O sea, está bien también dejar que te atiendan de esa forma si son ese tipo de familia que les gusta ser así. Definitivamente tengo más consejos que les podría dar, pero yo creo que este es el más importante o de los más importantes. Entonces, si tú no te llevas bien con la familia de tu novio y así, podría ser esta una de las causas. Ya sea que ellas son muy serviciales y no están queriendo que tú hagas nada y tú estás haciendo cosas, entonces les estás como que ahí chocando un poquito con su dinámica, o al contrario, no recoges, no haces nada y ellos están esperando como que pues esta parte de ti, como de yo te ayudo, como un poquito más proactivo. Dime qué opinas. No sé si es una locura total o por Dios, mis ojos se ven súper hinchados. Si quieres parte 2, dime. Voy a decir cómo...
Hay un psicólogo, John Gottman, que lleva 40 años investigando los patrones de las relaciones para ver si hay alguna variable que determine que una relación va a durar más o si una relación está destinada al fracaso. Y hay 4 factores, los 4 jinetes de la muerte, que determinan que tu relación no va a buen puerto. El primer jinete es la indiferencia, sentir que a tu pareja le da igual cómo te sientes, lo que haces, a dónde vas, es decir, que hay una desconexión en pareja. El segundo jinete es la actitud defensiva y negar la responsabilidad, porque la cuestión no es equivocarse, nos podemos equivocar todo el mundo, pero ¿qué haces con ese problema? ¿Tienes una actitud de defensa, lo defiendes con garras y dientes aunque no tengas razón? ¿Cuánto tiempo tardas en pedir perdón? ¿Cómo lo gestionas? El tercer jinete es la crítica destructiva, es decir, pues eso te queda fatal, a mí me daría vergüenza hacer ese vídeo, es decir, que tu pareja te mine el autoestima y la seguridad en ti misma o en ti mismo. Y el cuarto jinete es las amenazas, los insultos, las palabras fuera de tono y fuera de lugar. Si estos 4 jinetes se dan, van cabalgando desbocados hacia una relación tóxica de sufrimiento. También tiene una parte, ¿no? John Gottman, un estudio donde investiga cuáles son los factores que hacen que una relación dure más en el tiempo. Así que si os interesa saberlos, pues me lo decís en comentarios, me dais likes y yo pues lo hago encantada. Mientras tanto, sigo aquí limpiando a Cere con este cepillo que solo lo uso para eso, que yo sé que alguien ya se lo habrá preguntado, pero solo lo uso para limpiar a Cere, que me da muchísima calma y muchísima paz. Así que nada, a celebrar. Hay un psicólogo.
Consideration is the highest form of love. Someone who does not consider you, does not love you.
Wisdom is chasing you in this video. Don't scroll away and be faster. If you go back and look at the original creator's video, she's talking about how people often say that love and hate are the opposites, and actually she says that love and indifference are the opposite. She goes on to talk about consideration and how consideration is a form of love, and that if someone doesn't consider you, you should leave the relationship. It resonated so much for me because as I'm doing this series on dangerous men, I realized that it was one of the earliest red flags that I missed. Now, here's the thing about consideration. Sometimes people really are ignorant and they can learn how to be considerate. Think about somebody who's raised as an only child by an only child. They've never really had to consider other people around them, and so they can learn how to be considerate of others. But when it's not ignorance and instead is a choice, that's where we get into the danger zone. One of the earliest examples that comes to mind in my own relationship is when we at first started just kind of hanging out. I went to his house. We were playing this drinking game. I'm not a big drinker, so after a couple of shots, I passed out. And when I woke up in the morning, I was still on the sofa, fully clothed, my legs hanging off the sofa, my shoes still on, and he was asleep under the covers in the bed. And I asked, how could you not cover me up or try to wake me up or at least put me in the bed so that I could be comfortable for the rest of the night? And he laughed it off and said, oh, you're being too sensitive, which was a theme of my life. People have told me that I'm too sensitive. I was being too sensitive, that he just thought that I was going to wake up at some point and then I could have gotten in the bed or gotten a blanket or whatever was going to be comfortable for me. And in my mind, given my own childhood trauma, I didn't really see this as a red flag. I just thought, well, that kind of bothers me, but, you know, we're new. He doesn't know me. I haven't asked for what I needed. Yeah, yada, yada, gave the benefit of the doubt. But that theme continued throughout our relationship to the point that when we divorced, he took all the money. I'd stayed home, didn't have access to income. And so my kids and I literally didn't have money for food. My car broke down. I didn't have the car. We didn't know where we were going to go. But he had taken all the money. So while we were divorcing, of course, mediation didn't work. We had to go to court, do a full trial. And during the trial, my attorney asked him, if you knew that you were the sole source of income and you took all the money from the account, how did you think your wife and children were going to eat? He looked her in the face and said, she's a smart woman. I knew she would figure it out. And I did figure it out. But why this video is so important is that when somebody shows a lack of consideration and you automatically dismiss it as ignorance, you put yourself in a very dangerous situation. Because if a person doesn't consider you from the start, you're only going to go downhill from there. How do you know the difference between ignorance and malice? With ignorance, they respond to your feedback with concern, with curiosity, and with care. With malice, they respond with defensiveness, indifference, and a total lack of responsibility. And when at the core of someone's character is that inconsideration, that focus only on self, that narcissistic type of thinking, there is no amount of love that is going to change that. In fact, what it's going to do is pull you down more while you're trying to lift them up. You are particularly vulnerable to this if you grew up in a home where your needs didn't matter, where maybe there was survival mode because there were a lot of kids, if you were the forgotten child in the family. Because if you felt like you've never been considered, it's not something that you go into a relationship expecting. So if you're dating and you see a lack of consideration, that is your cue to exit stage left. I'm sharing my story in hopes that someone does not have to suffer the way I did. When you know better, you can do better.
Consideration is that
Cosas que no sabía de los hombres hasta que empecé a trabajar en construcción. Muchos de ellos, la mayoría, el 99%, está 100% seguro que el respeto se tiene que ganar bajo acciones. Amigos, yo no era consciente de esto hasta que lo empecé a escuchar y a ver. No saben la infinidad de veces que alguien me ha dicho, ese güey piensa que yo soy pendejo, pero no me conoce, ahorita vas a ver. Y saca su metro y empieza, y el nivel, y que la chingada. Y entonces el otro se le queda viendo y ya viene conmigo y me dice, ¿ves? Ya me respeta porque sabe que sí sé. Y yo, nunca me puse a pensar en eso, ¿sabes? Número 2. Muchos de ellos están lidiando con cosas bien cabronas, pero no le dicen a su familia para no preocuparlos. Neta, yo he conocido hombres que he parado la oreja y he escuchado así como que se quedaron en bancarrota, están pasando por un momento súper difícil, en el trabajo no les está yendo bien, pero yo veo a su familia y, o sea, ellos se ven bien, tranquilos, normal, y ese hombre está protegiendo y salvaguardando la seguridad y estabilidad de su familia, pero él está cargando con todo el peso de eso. Número 3. Cuando ven a alguien nuevo que la está cagando, lo pendejean bien culero, porque quieren que agarre el pedo, así como que, mira, si te cago lo suficiente, va a pasar algo dentro de ti que te va a decir, no mames, tengo que ponerme las pilas, güey, y van a reaccionar mejor. Eso no aplica con mujeres, o sea, tú la pendejeas y yo te mando a chingar a tu madre si tú me pendejeas y yo me equivoco. O sea, yo quiero que seas tranquilo, relajado, normal. Pero bueno, entre ellos y su mundo que estamos descubriendo aquí todos juntos, piensan que si una persona les habla así de fuerte y de frente y les dice las cosas como son, entonces esa persona es de confiar. Cosas que no sabía de los hombres.
So I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm 63 years old. And if nobody told you today, I've lived through enough life to hand you a few truths. Take the photo. You'll want it later. You'll forget what your smile looked like if you don't. Stop skipping the trip. The money will come back, but the time won't. Wear the dang tank top. If someone's staring at your arms, that's their hobby, not your problem. Say what you mean. The people who get you won't need it sugar-coated. Let people help you. Strength isn't suffering in silence. If it feels off, it is. Your gut is wiser than your excuses. Don't wait for perfect timing. It's already late. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace. Love deeply, but not blindly. You can have a soft heart and sharp boundaries. Forgive yourself for the years you played small. You didn't know better, but now you do. If you're not sure if it's love, it's probably not. No one's thinking about your flaws as much as you are. You are not too old. You're just getting started. So you can outgrow people without hating them. Let it be gentle. Start the thing. You'll be glad you did, or you'll have a great story. So don't wait 63 years to learn what I just told you. You can't rewind, babe, but you can show up different from here on out. And I swear, life gets better when you quit asking permission to enjoy it. So I don't know.
3 formas de decir a un hombre que lo amas sin decirle que lo amas. Yo esto lo descubrí porque trabajo en construcción y entonces empecé a ver ciertos comportamientos y luego los empecé a aplicar con mi novio. Prueba y error, pero aquí les traigo mi resumen. Para empezar, yo descubrí que no les interesa tanto que le estés diciendo que lo amas a cada rato. O sea, como que eso y nada es lo mismo. Ya, a lo que vamos. Número 1, que los admires. No hay cosa que yo he visto que le pegue más a mi novio que yo lo esté admirando. Por ejemplo, si va a jugar algo, béisbol, y yo lo empiezo a grabar y luego le hago un video con todos sus mejores tiros, siempre lo quiere estar viendo. Y aparte, neta, la cara que pone así de... Y luego ese video se lo quiere enseñar a todo el mundo, a sus amigos, a su familia, a quien va cruzando. Es como, mira mi video de mis mejores tiros, me lo tomó mi novia. Número 2, que los motives. Yo motivo mucho a mi novio cuando va al gimnasio, así como de, tú puedes echarte otra, ¿ese peso qué? Ponle más. Y luego va y le cuenta a su mamá, es que fui con ella al gimnasio y tú crees que pude levantar más. Es que ella me dijo que yo podía y yo en serio creí que sí podía y sí pude. ¿Tú crees que sí pude? Yo ahí me comprobé que ese hombre se sentía amado, dichoso. Número 3, y yo creo que esta es de las más importantes si quieres demostrarle que lo amas. confiar en él. Yo sé que suena un poco extraño, pero y que tú puedes decir, oh, yo confío en que no va a hacer nada. No, esa clase de confianza no. La confianza de que si él tiene un problema y te lo está contando, la confianza de que si tiene un proyecto y te lo quiere compartir, tú creas en él y que digas, no, sí se va a poder. ¿Sabes qué? Yo creo en ti, yo confío en ti. Pero si se equivoca, ahí viene como la doble prueba, que le diga, ¿sabes qué? Yo confío en que lo vas a resolver y que lo vas a hacer bien. Y entonces como que, mira, si ese hombre se sintió un superhéroe, en ese momento tú le recoges la capa y se la vuelves a poner. Es algo mágico, en serio, pruébenlo. Ahora, esto no es garantía de que no te sean infiel, porque muchas mujeres me han escrito como, es que él me fue infiel. Es que esto no te garantiza, a nadie le garantiza nada que le sean infiel. Nada. Puedes ser la mejor persona del mundo y te pueden ser infiel, puedes ser el peor y te pueden ser súper fiel. 3 formas de decir o no.
When I was ready to meet my husband, I asked the same questions that you do. How will I recognize if he's the one? What if there's someone else out there that's a better match for me? I'm married 24 years, and here are the 3 things I know for sure. First is to realize that whoever your Mr. Wonderful is going to have flaws, and you need to figure out which of those flaws are deal breakers and which of those flaws you are willing to live with. Do you have what it takes to complement and supplement them, and for sure not let that become an antagonistic component into your relationship? Second is that when you do meet Mr. Right, you want to be able to be his Miss Right as well. So for me, I dealt and healed from my childhood wounds and my wounds from my past in order to be my Miss Wonderful for my husband. The third is that timing does matter, because you want to be able to be in a position where you are ready to meet the one out of empowerment, strength, and confidence, and not out of scarcity, fear, or afraid to be alone. When all this happens and comes together, that is when you will meet the one. I'm Coach Breaker, and I put the brakes on broken hearts. When I was ready to meet my...
Girl, forget what you heard. Men are not visual, and I know a ton of them will say that, but they're just trying to gaslight you and justify their behavior that is oftentimes overly sexual and superficial and very much emotionally avoidant. And I want to let you know that if men were actually visual, they would have beautiful homes and be much more fashionable, but they're not. Women are. There is a part of the brain called the hippocampus, and what that part of the brain does, it's all about memory, long-term memory. Men use it for directions. Women use it to remember colors and details. That's why men are chasers and women are choosers. No, so you know, like when you were growing up and your mom was like, please clean your room. She was asking that because it actually really disturbed her. My mother could not cook in a kitchen before it was cleaned because it was that disturbing. Women feel good around beautiful things. Men are looking and need directions to actually get their goal, right? They are hunters. So what does this mean in real life as it pertains to dating? It means that oftentimes when men approach you, they are hunting you. And so many women are like wanting to be approached and think that that's like a badge of honor. Please understand that hunters, just like in the National Geographic, they hunt the actual weakest prey, the prey that is unhealed. That's why I tell you, don't ever give the guy the time of day if he's approaching you in real life. If you're doing things that you have to do on an everyday basis, like get gas, shop at a mall, go grocery shopping, those men are wildly unserious and they are hunting you. They are not actually engaging you in a humanistic way. This is one implication. The other implication, because some of the women actually over course correct and they're like, I'm just gonna go and get mine. Here's the thing. So let me tell you this. So there is this animal called the opossum, and it is the only pouched animal in North America. And the reason why it has been able to exist and it's not extinct is because every time a hunter is about to catch it, it falls dead right in front of it. And the hunter actually loses interest because the chase is gone. If you are shooting your shot to a guy, you will be giving opossum energy and he will lose interest and move to something else that is actually going to, require him to chase and hunt. So what does this mean? It means I want you to reframe what being approached in the wild looks like, and I want you to reframe shooting your shot if that is what you've been wanting to do. There's a delicate dance here, and that's what I teach my clients, and if you are interested in learning about that, definitely book a call. I hope this helps. Scroll.
You need to be the muse and he is the accessory. You are the muse, he is your accessory. You are the star and he is the fan. You are the goddess and he is there. You are glowing and he just exists. You have to be the black cat and he needs to be your golden retriever. Otherwise, you become the loyal golden retriever chasing him, you become the accessory. Because he's the star, he's the muse, he's the artist. That never works. Or it might work, but you end up miserable. You need to be the muse and he is the...
Research has shown that 82% of our impressions of people are based on two traits: warmth and competence. It's not how attractive you are, it's not how tall you are, it's not how rich you are, it's not how successful you are. It's literally how fast can you signal, I'm a friend, trust, and you can rely on me, competence. And so from a body language perspective, the faster you can signal those two things, the moment you hop on screen, the moment you get on a video, the moment you enter a room, the more people like you and respect you.
Interesting.
And so it is a balance. So what I like to think about is like a recipe. Is there are warmth, nonverbal cues, and there are competent nonverbal cues. So warm cues, these make sense, right? Smiling, authentic smiling, a warm cue. You're nodding is a warm cue. When you do a triple nod, research shows that I will speak 67% longer. So when you're
just going, I gotta start adding.
But not bobbleheading.
Which is it?
No.
Oh, right.
Too much. Well, also that's also not good, right?
Well, serious.
It's too much. So if you do a slow triple nod, here I'll demo it for you.
Okay.
The other person speaks 67% longer. So this is a
Stop. Okay.
Right? That is a nonverbal ... You're telling the other person, I hear you, I see you, tell me more. Research has shown that
Do you want to know how to make a man respect you, how to make a man attracted to you, and how to keep the right dynamic in a relationship? You do it by always being willing to walk away. And I know so many people are going to hate me for saying this, but the second you can't walk away, the second you feel like you need him for your happiness, is the second you start tolerating disrespect. Do you want to know how to make a man respect you, how to make a man attracted to you, and how to keep the right dynamic in a relationship? You do it by always being willing to walk away. And I know so many people are going to hate me for saying this, but the second you can't walk away, the second you feel like you need him for your happiness, is the second you start tolerating disrespect. Do you want to know how...
There are 4 solid steps to telling a man what you need, and at the risk of giving women the tools to manipulate men but hoping for the best, I'm going to read them. And I want to first point out that a man who loves you and is relatively in tune with you is going to know for the most part what it is that you need. But too often we live in this space of if he wanted to, he would. And I always say that if he wanted to, he would is only good if he already has like the tools and resources that he needs to understand what it is that you need or want. So how to tell a man what you need. Number 1, ask for a time to talk about something I need today or tomorrow, next week. Keep your voice warm, but falsely light, but not falsely light, so he doesn't think he's in trouble. If his body tenses up, that means you have to be observant. Come right out and say, don't worry, you're not in trouble. Don't give the man anxiety. Tell him how many minutes you think it will take, and don't underestimate to make it seem easier. Make an appointment. This is because he's single focused and you want him focused on what you tell him. Single focused, meaning a lot of this is based on information that's in the rest of the chapters, but I'm going to try and condense it for you. When she says single focused, there's this idea that men are different than women and that they focus on one thing at a time. If a man is hungry and he goes into the refrigerator, he is more likely to get the food and come out and go eat the food. If a woman is hungry and goes into the refrigerator, it is more likely that we're going to open the refrigerator, see how filthy it is, clean it out, rearrange it, organize it, probably forget what we went in there for, cook dinner, and then be like, oh wait, I wanted a snack. Not saying that's going to happen all the time, but that's just an example. When a woman is going to do one thing, we have a tendency to get sidetracked and start doing other things that kind of bother our eyes along the way, whereas a man will just go straight to the thing. And she explains this earlier on, how this is why it's so easy for men to do things that we notice, but they don't notice. Like walking past the trash can when it's full and then taking it out eventually, as opposed to taking it out as soon as it's full. Not saying all men do that, but that helps us to understand why they are able to do that when it seems so obvious to us, because they're very single focused. So if they're focusing on something, that's what they're focusing on. They're not worried about anything else. So don't attempt a needs conversation while he's focused on anything else, like driving, dressing, eating, reading, etc. And don't be condescending to say, oh my gosh, he can't do anything while he's driving, dressing, and reading. Again, being condescending in those ways when we're having these conversations only makes it more difficult to get the point across, because instead of you trying to understand that this is potentially how the man is or how your husband is, you're trying to blame him for being away and then forcing him to be more like you when you could just understand, oh, that makes sense. That's why he does that. It annoys me, but that's how he is. So maybe that's something that I can work around. It's easier to be understanding than it is to try to change a person who is being themselves. So number 2, when it's time to talk, thank him for what a great provider he is. Remember, men play for points. This lets him know that he's in a game he can win. I want to say that we talked about this too with Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and The Surrendered Wife. So if you want more on that to unpack, check those 2 playlists. Number 3, tell him what you need. Use that word and be specific. The word need. Yeah. When you need it, exactly, including how often it's an ongoing need, what it will look like. Don't assume he'll interpret the words as the same as you. Again, what we need and what we see it as may be very clear to us may not be the case for your husband. Number 4, tell him what receiving this would provide for you and be specific. What you'll be able to do, accomplish, handle, how it will make you feel, and why that matters. So for instance, let's say you're a stay-at-home mom, and because you're a stay-at-home mom, you can stay home with your small children, but you find that you would be more relaxed and put together, have more time for yourself if the children went to like a Mother's Day Out program or like summer camp or something like that. You saying, well, oh, I want to put the kids in summer camp, he may not comprehend, like, you say you wanted to stay home with the kids, why do you want to put them in summer camp? But if you say, I need to put the kids in summer camp so that I can have time for myself to go get my nails done, to go do this, to go take care of myself, to run errands, to be at peace in the morning, whatever it is, he now understands. And it may feel like, well, I shouldn't have to say that. But sometimes it's not that he doesn't want to do the thing for you. Men fight with logic. So if you say, I want the kids to go to summer camp, and you initially say, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, he's not going to connect the 2 because what do you mean? What do you mean? And sometimes we don't want to take that extra step to explain things and be direct. But it would really be helpful for you in some of these situations because, like I said, men will fight with logic. And he's not trying to fight you. He's just being logical. He'll say, well, what about, I thought you said. But if you help him to paint the picture of what it is that you're trying to say, it would be a little bit easier. 5, I said 4 steps, girl. It's 6. 5, ask the partner question. Is there anything you need to give me what I need? Is there something you need from me so that I can get what I need, right? So having an open mind, it probably isn't what you'd require. Number 6, ask, is there a particular way I can show my appreciation for you giving me this? Again, have an open mind. Don't be like, well, you should want to do it. And I should, like, don't be so like, this is what I need and I don't want to give anything in return. That's just not how it works. We talked about how relationships in some regard are actually transactional, but not in the regularly associated negative connotation of that word. Not like tit for tat, not like keeping score, but in a space of, I should constantly be of service to the person that I'm married to. That's what I mean by transactional. So,
you want to know the secret to having a loving, passionate relationship where you just feel so adored and valued? You got to learn how to give your man appreciation. Appreciation is one of the core needs of a really healthy guy. And a lot of us, we say thank you. And we say thank you when they open up the door, pay for bills. But there's other things that you can do that actually genuinely show appreciation, that really hits at his heart, that makes him like lean in and be like, oh my God, this girl is amazing. So I'm going to give you 8 different ways to show appreciation so that the man that you're really into starts to pursue you and feel valued in the relationship. And when he feels valued, he's going to show up and be better for you. So you ready? Here we are. Number 1, acknowledge what he can provide. Okay, so you can say stuff specifically like, thank you for paying for dinner, thank you for opening up the car door, but also you can say, thank you for thinking of me when you did this. Thank you for listening to me for an hour as I vented to you about my day. When you can actually say specifically small little things that he's doing that make you happy, that bring a smile to your face, then he's going to lean in and be like, oh, I want to do that more. Okay. Number 2, admire his strengths. That's right. I want you to say stuff like, I loved how you handled that at work. I'm so turned on by the way that you're handling this whole situation. That is so amazing, right? I'm so impressed with how you're handling this. I'm so impressed with all the different things that you do. I'm so impressed with the way that you actually, take care of my car. I don't know, like, what are all the tiny little things that he does? You're just like, damn, that's impressive. Acknowledge it. Number 3, brag about him in front of his friends, in front of your friends. If he sent you a flirty text, tell him. You know, tell people like, oh my God, did you see what this guy sent me? It was the cutest thing ever. Oh my gosh, this guy totally sent me these beautiful flowers. Oh, he's so amazing. This guy, he planned the best date ever. He brought me to this most amazing restaurant. It was so magical. Talk about him positively in front of his friends and in front of your friends and watch him light up. 4, ask for his opinion and ask for his help. Even just the smallest things, you know, when it especially comes to work, ask him. I remember at a client once, she asked her boyfriend for an opinion on how to write a particular email to her clients, and he lit up and he was like, yeah, I'll totally help you with that. Right? Ask for help in the small little ways. Ask for his opinion on, you know, how you're handling stuff with friends. Be like, how would you handle this? I'm not sure how to do this. How would you handle it? It's going to light him up. 5, physical touch. Hook his arm, touch his back, touch his shoulders, touch, you know, like when you're sitting there in the car, you know, just go over and just like lean next to him and be like, hi. Physical touch. Most men, their love language is physical touch. Don't be afraid to like give nice little subtle touches, especially if you're out and about. Girl, he's gonna light up. Number 6, show interest in his hobbies and his interests. If he likes sports, I don't give a shit if you don't like football, ask him about it. If he likes camping, ask him about it. If he likes, I don't know what, like, just ask him about it. Get to know his interests. You know, like, watch him light up as he tells you about stuff that he's interested in. And then in return, if he's a smart, you know, secure, masculine man, he's going to take interest in what you're interested in too. 7, support his growth. Especially if he's a growth mindset man, if he's working on himself, if he's in therapy, if he's working to better himself, support it. Ask him, how are things going with work? Ask him, how is your health journey going? Ask him, like, you know, how are things going for you? I'm genuinely here to support your growth. And then therefore also give him space in order to recharge and respect his boundaries. Because as he's growing, he's probably going to want to spend time with you, but also need some alone time to recharge. And so that's also a way you can respect his growth. And number 8, celebrate his wins. Every little win, celebrate them. Celebrate them. If he just had a huge milestone at work, celebrate it. If he just, I don't know, made something for the house, celebrate it, right? If he just accomplished something that was really big for him, celebrate it. When you can be that person that he knows that you are a safe space for him to celebrate with, and you're giving him all of those positive compliments and all this appreciation and gratitude and acknowledging just how great of a guy he is, just watch. He's going to treat you better. Now, this works for masculine, secure, healthy men, okay? There's always a caveat. This works for healthy men that actually want to build a healthy partnership. But ladies, let me tell you, appreciation is the key to his heart. You want to know the secret to having a loving, passionate relationship where you just feel so adored?
The right person makes you fall in love 3 times. With them, with yourself, and with life. You need all 3 of those for a long-lasting partnership. You want to, of course, love them. That's the bare minimum. But do you like you in the relationship? Do you like the version of you that is coming out when you are with them, with that person? Do you love you? And do you love doing life not only with them, but do you love the way that you now look at life with this person? This is not to say that somebody's going to heal you and fix you and give you a whole different set of happiness, but they should bring out a side of you that makes your stocks in life go up metaphorically, that makes you get closer to being a better version of yourself, that expands your mind to think in different ways. You have to love them, but you also have to love you in that relationship, and you have to love doing life with that person. The right person makes you fall in love 3 times. With them, with yourself, and with life. You need all 3 of those for a long-lasting partnership. You want to, of course, love them. That's the bare minimum. But do you like you in the relationship? Do you like the version of you that is coming out when you are with them, with that person? Do you love you? And do you love doing life not only with them, but do you love the way that you now look at life with this person. This is not to say that somebody's going to heal you and fix you and give you a whole different set of happiness, but they should bring out a side of you that makes your stocks in life go up, metaphorically, that makes you get closer to being a better version of yourself, that expands your mind to think in different ways. You have to love them, but you also have to love you in that relationship, and you have to love doing life with that person. The right person makes you fall in love 3 times. With them, with yourself, and with life. You need all 3 of those for a long-lasting partnership. You want to, of course, love them. That's the bare minimum. But do you like you in the relationship? Do you like the version of you that is coming out when you are with them, with that person? Do you love you? And do you love doing life not only with them, but do you love the way that you now look at life with this person? This is not to say that somebody's going to heal you and fix you and give you a whole different set of happiness, but they should bring out a side of you that makes your stocks in life go up, metaphorically, that makes you get closer to being a better version of yourself, that expands your mind to think in different ways. You have to love them, but you also...
Relationship advice. My husband and I just celebrated 12 years of marriage. We just had our 12th year wedding anniversary. Stick around because I'm saving the best one for last. First tip, always look and feel your best. Always look, always invest in how you look. Not because you want to prevent him from cheating, but because when you look good, you feel good, you love yourself, and he will in turn love you more when you are in love with yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to respect. Don't be overly in love and adoring your husband. Men actually don't like that. You need to be adored and loved as a woman, but men just need to be respected. Respect your man, support him, never ever disrespect him, especially in public. Never make fun of him. Don't look down on him. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you need to be like this hardcore feminist. Learn to actually support and respect your partner, your husband, whoever. It makes a huge difference. Don't look down on them and don't be overly lovey-dovey. Third, never mother your boyfriend, husband, partner. Don't mother them. You are the woman. He needs to know that you are the sexy prize. You're not mothering him. Don't smother him. Don't be looking after, like, if he took his medication, vitamins, did he drink enough water? Don't do that. Men don't like that. Like, imagine when you were dating, you didn't care about what he did, what he ate, what he drank. Keep it that way. Never ever nag. If you want something, say it once. Don't nag. The worst thing you can do is nag, because men will just block you out. They're going to lose their attraction to you. It's annoying. No one likes nagging. Don't nag. I know men sometimes don't listen and you have to tell them 1,000 times, but you will only make it worse by nagging. So just say it nicely. Okay, here's an example. My husband and I just got married and we had some art to hang, and I asked him nicely. He never did it. So what I did instead, I paid someone come to the house and hang it for us. And he was like, what happened? So then I told him, oh yeah, you were too busy. So I got someone to come and help me hang the art. And once he found that out, every time I asked him to do something, he did it because I had to ask another man, okay? So that's a smart way of doing it. Find a hobby together. Find something to do together. I'm not saying just go out for dinners and all that stuff. Find a hobby, like working out. Find a hobby together. It's going to really help with your connection. Learn their love language. It took me a while to figure out, but learning a love language is so important. Some people express acts of service or saying nice things, doing nice things. Learn what the love language is and use that for your partner, because my husband does a lot of nice things for me, but my language is different. My love language is different. I'd rather say nice things to me instead of doing the dishes, but a lot of people find that weird. So learn love language. Never be needy. Never ask for reassurance. Never ask if you look good, or don't ask that. Imagine when you were dating, you didn't ask him if you looked good. He knew you looked good. Otherwise, why would he date you? Why would he go on a date with you if he didn't find you attractive? Make sure you keep up with your looks, but don't be begging for reassurance. Don't ask him, oh, did I look fat? Don't do that. Because even if that's the case, you're just pointing to the fact that you have this flaw, and he'll only notice that. It's not his job to make you feel better. It's your job to work on yourself to make you feel better. Don't ever ask for reassurance, because that's just going to make you less attractive in his eyes. And on that topic, don't be a pick-me girl. Don't ask if other girls are attractive. If you find another girl attractive, just say, oh yeah, she's attractive, because that shows you're confident. It doesn't show like you're competing with her. It doesn't show that like you're jealous of her. Be confident, and being confident means you can acknowledge that other people are also attractive. It's totally normal to do that. If he looks at another girl, don't be jealous, don't go crazy, and don't be pick-me. Don't say nasty things about her. Don't ever do that, because it's going to make you look bad. Whenever my husband and I have gone to bed angry, it just prolonged our fight. Don't go to bed angry. It's the worst thing ever. Talk it over. Even if you have to go to bed at 4 a.m., talk it over, and then try to figure it out. Don't go to bed angry. Us women, you ladies, if you want your man to do more things for you, show appreciation. So let's say he makes you eggs in the morning. They're not the kind of eggs that you like. You're never going to say, oh, I don't like eggs. I don't like my eggs like this. I don't like my eggs runny. Don't do that. Say, thank you so much, babe. You made my favorite eggs. They're super delicious. And he will do more of that for you. Who cares if they're not your favorite eggs? The point is, he's going to want to do more things for you. And isn't that what you want at the end of the day? Because if you complain about him, the way he made your eggs for you, he'll never do it again. Don't do something because you think he likes it. So let's say he likes you in red dresses. Don't just be wearing red dresses because that shows that you're trying to please him. And I mean, not that there's like something terribly wrong with that, but you have to show that you are true to yourself. So let's say my husband hates leopard print, absolutely hates it. Does that mean I'm never going to wear leopard print? No. If I like something leopard print, I will buy it and I will wear it because that's what I like. I'm not trying to please him. I'm pleasing myself. And believe it or not, guys respect that and they love that. Controlling. Don't ask him where he is, what he's doing. If you have trust issues, try to resolve that in a different manner, because all you're going to do is it's going to hinder the relationship. Because if you can't trust him, like first of all, why are you with him? Okay? Don't be controlling, because if a man's going to do something, he's going to do it regardless if you're texting him or on top of him. And he's more likely to do that if you're more of a control freak. I'm sorry. But don't be controlling. Be confident. Have your own self-worth. You're not checking on him all the time, where he is, what he's doing. My husband's at work all day. I'm not checking in on him. He has freedom. He has the freedom. And when men know they have the freedom, all they want to do is be with that girl. It gives them the freedom. Okay, so I've saved the best for last. And I think this is the most important thing. Emotional independence, not financial, emotional. Because even a chick who's got all her own money, she's independent, financially, blah, 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 blah. If she's relying on her man to make her happy, she'll always be miserable. Have your own emotional independence. So whether you're with him or you're without him, you're going to be happy. You're not relying on him to make you happy. I know this is a hard one for a lot of people because they get into relationships hoping the other person's going to make them happy. Have emotional independence. If he leaves, you are fine. You're not going to be broken. And he needs to know that, because when he knows that, he will hold on to you. He will hold on to you like you have no idea. Don't ever show that you depend on him to make you happy. You are fine with or without him. And guess what? He's going to be obsessed with you, because you need to be obsessed with yourself. So the relationship advice, my husband and I just celebrated 12 years of marriage. We just had our 12th year